Quinton Rampage Jackson is one of the most feared names in MMA history. A former UFC light heavyweight champion, a guy who once slammed opponents so hard the crowd gasped before the ref even touched them. So, when his son, Raja Jackson, stepped into a wrestling ring this past weekend, fans were curious. Would the apple fall far from the tree? Or would Rampage's fight instincts run deep in the family? Well, what happened shocked everyone. At a private wrestling event hosted by KnokX Pro Academy in Los Angeles, Raja faced off against Stuart Smith, better known by his ring name Syko Stu. Now, wrestling fans know KnokX Pro has produced big names. Rikishi, the legendary WWE Hall of Famer, runs the place, and it's seen as a launchpad for young talent. But this wasn't your typical pro wrestling spectacle with choreographed slams and rehearsed drama. What unfolded looked a lot closer to an MMA fight gone wrong. During the match, Raja slammed Syko to the mat with such force that Syko appeared completely knocked out. That should have been the end. But instead, Raja mounted his limp opponent and rained down punch after punch until officials rushed in and pulled him off. The disturbing footage spread online instantly, leaving fans divided between horror and disbelief. To make it even more intense, we later learned that Syko Stu had to be hospitalized after the beatdown. Wrestling reporter Sean Ross noted that while the spot, the big slam, was scripted, the brutal follow-up punches were not part of the plan. In other words, Raja went off script. And here's where the story gets even more dramatic. Just before the fight, a video shows Syko smashing a can against Raja's head. That little stunt nearly sparked a brawl right there and then. Rampage later explained that his son had already suffered a concussion during sparring days earlier, and after that shot, he was told he could get payback once the bell rang. But Rampage admitted what followed went way too far. On X, the former champ defended his son's health while also apologizing for his behavior, writing that Raja is an MMA fighter, not a pro wrestler, and never should have been involved in an event like this. His exact words: "He's deeply concerned not just for Syko Stu's recovery, but for Raja's future too." This whole incident echoes some of the darker moments in combat sports where entertainment and real danger blur. Remember when Mike Tyson bit Evander Holyfield's ear in a boxing match that was supposed to be just another title defense? Or more recently, when Jake Paul's boxing crossovers blurred the lines between sport and spectacle. Raja's outburst sits in that same strange space, planned entertainment that suddenly became all too real. And speaking of reality, this comes at a time when the wrestling world is buzzing with intense headlines, from CM Punk's WWE comeback to AEW's recent string of injuries. Fans are debating whether promotions are pushing talent too hard for the sake of shocking moments. Raja's case only adds fuel to the fire about safety, training, and where to draw the line. But there's also a human angle here. Raja is young, still carving his path, and clearly struggling to balance the instincts he inherited from his father with the scripted world of pro wrestling. His story now raises big questions. Should fighters from legit combat sports even step into the performance-heavy world of wrestling without proper prep? And how do promoters make sure going off script doesn't end in the hospital? For now, the good news is that Rampage confirmed Syko Stu eventually regained consciousness and is in stable condition. But it's safe to say this won't be forgotten anytime soon. Whether Raja Jackson becomes a name to watch, or a cautionary tale depends on how he and the industry handle what happens next.